Welcome, fellow Narnians, to another edition of Puddleglum's Music Collection. My name is Marty Phillips. I'll be your host today. Today we're going to talk about the new Kansas. It's right here. It's the new Kansas. It's been about, 2016 is when the Kansas brought out the Prelude Implicit, which it was a long time before they had an album out, and then they brought that one out after Steve Walsh had retired, and they got a new singer. This new album is called the Absence of Presence. I guess Phil Ehart, the drummer, he got the idea of Absence of Presence from being in an airport, traveling and seeing everybody on their phone. It's all crowded, but yet nobody's there. They're all somewhere else, which is kind of odd that they thought about this name of the album before the whole COVID-19 thing. I think we can all relate to Absence of Presence right now. And there's two original members still in Kansas. There's Rich Williams, the guitar player, and Phil Ehart, the drummer. But one thing about Kansas I like, unlike sometimes with Yes, I don't think, I love Yes, but sometimes I don't think they get the optimal members for what they do. Kansas seems to always go out and find these great players, and they just keep on putting great live shows on. Even though a lot of the original members and a lot of the contributors of the music have left, like Kerry Livgren, Steve Walsh, they've always gone through a few changes. They had John Elefante on vocals for a while. Then Steve came back in. Steve Morris came in for a while. Kerry Livgren, when he retired after Drastic Measures, went on to do other bands like AD and Protocol and other stuff. You should look into those bands. They're really good. But today we're going to talk about the Absence of Presence. This was the one they had. This is the vinyl they had. Before that, this is the Prelude Implicit. I love that cover. They got the same artist to do the new one for the cover. I don't like it as much, and I wish Kansas was a little more bolder on the new album. But I think it's good for what it is. What I liked about the vinyl of this one, as well as the new one, they does three sides, but the other side has an etching. So that was the etching for that of the cover. I don't even know if you could see it on there, but it's pretty cool. But this is the new album, Prelude Implicit. So there's the cover. It's a gatefold. There's the inside. It comes in like a blue color, I think, but I just got the black LP or vinyl, whatever they're calling it nowadays. But yeah, you got the, I don't know if you can see the etching there, but they got the etching on this one too, and the label. Yeah, and so I pre-ordered it. They were a little late with they got delayed, like everybody's getting delayed with records nowadays, I think because of COVID. But because it was delayed, they sent me a nice lithograph. It's a nice print of the album cover, so that was nice. So from that album to this album, they got a new member. The new member is Tom Bislin, I think his name is. Let's see here. Yeah, Tom Brislin. Tom Brislin is a keyboard player. The guy is fantastic. This album is covered with a lot of keyboards and violin. There is some nice tasty guitar solos. There's a couple heavy songs, but, the keyboards on this are amazing, and Tom has contributed a lot of the songwriting. What's weird here is Phil Ehart does a lot of lyrics on here, too, which I find interesting. I've never knew that he dabbled into the lyrics. And, of course, Ronnie Platt, the new lead singer, does a little bit of writing on here. Billy Greer is the other singer in this band, and he's got a great voice. If you ever listen to Native Window, which is basically a Kansas album without Steve Walsh. Native Window, Billy Greer sings on all that. And he's a great singer, and he sings on a lot of Kansas stuff from the last album and, on live. But the last song on here, Tom sings, the new keyboardist. He's got a great voice. Billy didn't sing on it, but I'm sure he did a lot of the background vocals and everything. No lead vocals. But it was mostly Ronnie Platt. And then Tom Brislin did the last song that he wrote. That song is amazing. But I'm going to go through a couple songs here. So The Absence of Presence, Phil Ehart, I think, wrote most of the lyrics for that. And like I said, he did that while he was at the airport or whatever and saw everybody. And that song marches along, starts out with this eerie piano, violin, and it gets this beat going and it marches along. I think it's a phenomenal song, and I think it says a lot. And then Throwing Mountains is probably, the next song is probably the heaviest song in the album. There's a great violin solo in there, and it has a lot of different textures. And I really enjoy Throwing Mountains. It's a really good song. And that was one of the first songs that came out as a single for that album. Let's see, Jets Overhead just sounds like it really sounds like a normal Kansas song. They really keep a lot of their feel of Kansas, which is amazing to me, with Kerry Livgren being gone, which is the main songwriter, and Steve Walsh. They keep a lot of that Kansas feel through the whole thing. I do have to say, the production on this is really good, but at times it seems a little compressed. The LP vinyl sounds a little better than I did listening to it. I listened to it in streaming too in the car, just so I could get more of a feel for it. But there's a little bit of I had to turn down the treble a little bit. There's a little bit of compression, but it's produced really good. But it does seem a little compressed to me. But it is a very well produced album, and especially the last song, the drums, and just really sound great. Propulsion 1 is a instrumental. It reminds me a lot of Neil Morris. If you ever heard Neil Morris Band, Neil Morris's writing, Spock's Beard, it reminds me a lot of a Neil Morris song, which is good because I love Neil Morris. But Propulsion 1 is a very good instrumental, and it just reminded me of Neil Morris, the way the keyboards are in it and stuff. Like I said, this album is a very keyboard-oriented album, which I'm enjoying because this guy is a wizard. He's a very good keyboard player. He's right up there with the best. And if you don't know, if you want to look up Yes's DVD Blu-ray that has the, I don't know if it's on a Blu-ray, but it's definitely a DVD. It's a Yes DVD where they were doing the Magnification tour with the orchestra. He's the keyboard player on that, and they show him. And I liked him from way back then, but now, man, I just really love him on this album. And I can't wait till Kansas does a tour again so I can see him with Kansas. Because he really does a good job on this album, and he does a lot of writing. And this, like I said, the last song, he does well with that. Memories Down the Line is a song about family and memories, and could be a Hallmark card commercial, I think. It's kind of a ballad. I didn't love it when I first heard it, but it's growing on me now, and I kind of enjoy it now. And it does have a lot of good things to say about family, which I think is good nowadays. And I'm really enjoying it. They got Circus of Illusion. Surprised Kerry Livgren didn't write this. It sounds like a kind of a Kerry Livgren song. Circus of Illusion is a very Kansas sounding song, and I enjoyed it very much. And Animals on the Roof. A lot more keyboard oriented on there, but it's that also, I enjoyed the lyrics, and I thought it was a very good song. Never and the song that the River sang, the last two songs are probably my favorite. Never, Ronnie Platt really does a good song singing on it. It's probably his best singing on the album. I really enjoyed it, and so that's a great song. And the best song on there, I think, is the song the River sang. Tom sings on it, and this is probably the most prog song on there. It ends with a lot of clavinet and weird guitar sounds and violin stuff, and it just stops. The record stops. Kind of reminds me of the Beatles, that one song where they just stopped. But the thing about Kansas is with these new members coming in, they keep the feel of Kansas, and they just keep being spectacular live. I mean, they're just as good live as they were back with the original members. But it's a good album, and it's one of, and the more I listen to it, the more I like it. The last two albums I thought have been pretty good, so I would suggest going out and getting this. Like I said, I got the black, but they also have it, I think, on blue vinyl. So that is my review of this album. So go out there and get The Absence of Presence by Kansas. Once again, this is Marty. I'm with Puddleglum's Music Collection, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.